Good evening from Newsy headquarters in Atlanta. I'm Julie Martin. We start here tonight. It took years to make it happen, but the House Ways and Means Committee is now in possession of 6 years of former President Trump's tax returns. A week after the Supreme Court declined to get involved, the Treasury Department has turned the documents over. Trump, first as a presidential candidate and then later as president, broke decades of tradition by refusing to release his tax returns. The committee is mainly interested in returns from when Trump was in office. They're looking into how the IRS audits and the returns of a sitting president. Here to talk more about the implications of this is Ronald Chapman, who is a federal defense attorney. Ronald, thank you so much for joining us here on Newsy. Let's start with what kinds of crimes you would be looking for in general from a person's tax returns.
Well, I think we're looking for improper deductions to begin with. We're looking to see if Donald Trump is taking improper depreciation, trying to hide assets. That's not the focus of the House Ways and Means investigation, but certainly the federal prosecutors that are already looking into them are going to peruse through those tax returns, as well as the New York DA that received them, I believe, last March.
And Ronald, the House Ways and Means Committee is on the receiving end of these documents. They're primarily interested, though, in the returns from when Trump was actually president. So what does that suggest they might be looking for?
Well, the authorized purpose that was indicated in the subpoena and also the Supreme Court filings indicated that they were trying to look and see if they can improve how they process presidential tax returns. Many people thought that was a subterfuge, and that wasn't really the reason. They thought that it was a witch hunt. But now they're going to be limited to reviewing these tax returns for the authorized purpose that they requested, which is to improve the tax code and to improve the review of presidential returns. I think we all know, though, that really the House Ways and Means Committee and Congress, while they're still sitting in this term, is going to look a lot deeper and try to investigate Donald Trump for taking improper deductions.
Sure, especially as we're looking, ahead to another political cycle. So they also said they were interested in how the IRS audits presidential tax returns, which they're required to do every year. What do you suppose that would be about?
Well, I think when they're looking at how presidential tax returns are audited, they're looking to see if they can improve statutes and create legislation that may change the way that they look at presidential tax returns. I think many people are very confused as to what that means because there isn't really a good process to begin with for specifically auditing presidential tax returns. That sort of leads to a lot of the criticism that the Trump campaign has given to these tax returns, that it really is a witch hunt without an authorized purpose. I think that whatever legislation they come up with, if the Republicans decide to pick up this fight after they take over the House, we'll certainly see when we see the legislation that they propose.
Sure. And, I guess, it is a federal offense, right, to release a person's tax returns. So what's the likelihood the general public will ever get a look at these documents?
And Julie, I think that's the big question here. Will the public actually get to see these documents? Well, it is a federal offense, as you indicated. It's a 5-year felony to improperly release tax returns. Now, we know, just like the Supreme Court, Congress has had leaks. And if these tax returns get into the hands of some folks in Congress, there is possibly a leak. But the fact that the GOP is taking over the House after January indicates to me that if there was any leak of Donald Trump's tax returns coming from the House Ways and Means Committee, we would expect a pretty swift investigation come January. I don't think the public are going to see the returns. I don't think that they'll be leaked. And if they are leaked, I think that there could be an investigation and potentially prosecution.
All right. Federal Defense Attorney Ronald Chapman, thank you so much for weighing in on all of this tonight. We appreciate it. Also,